One of my favorite TV shows is Mr. Monk, and as I was watching an episode of Monk, the OCD detective who's a complete clean freak, in this particular episode, San Francisco is faced with a garbage union, where the garbage men stop working until they will receive better pay, leaving trash on the streets. And in the episode itself is pretty funny, I would say, as San Francisco builds up with trash and Mr. Monk completely loses his mind and even fakes the outcome of the case multiple times until the garbage men go back to work. In the end, the garbage men do go back to work and the case is solved, along with the smell. After watching the episode, I found myself thinking, wow, garbage men are so important. And we make a lot of trash. Like a disgusting amount of trash. We make trash just about every day. I mean, haven't you seen your trash can or when the garbage man comes to pick up your trash? We don't realize how much trash we really produce, and it's due to the fact we overconsume. Overconsumption affects us in all forms of our lives, health, environment, and economy. If we aren't careful, our streets could end up looking like the Monk episode. I will discuss overconsumption and how we can combat it in today's world. Using small habits and our own, it all starts with us. Overconsumption is consuming in excess of resources compared to what we actually need. Throughout the 21st century, manufacturing has only added to overconsumption, and it's been a hot topic. However, overconsumption has kind of been associated with natural resources, such as coal or wood, which is true, but I would like to bring to light the other side, which is a major part that is filling our landfills, is the food industry. And in the food industry, the Environmental American Research Policy Center states Americans throw away about 9.5 pounds of trash per person every day. And that's nearly 1,800 pounds of material per American every year. Within that, 4.9 pounds per day, 24% of our landfills are filled with food waste. The EPA, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, states that due to its quick decay rate, food waste in landfills is contributing to more methane emissions than any other landfill material. We have all heard of methane. I mean, methane emissions in our cars or fossil fuels. But it's not just in our cars or in our food. It's just not only in our rotting food, but in our meat industry. We haven't just overconsumed vegetables, but mass breeding of animals such as cows, chickens, and pigs. These animals have to eat, and these animals have to fart. And if you're watching the amount of fiber these animals are consuming and how close they are together, it makes sense why this is a big problem. But in all seriousness, this is a really big problem because animal feces ends up in the water. So now you have the air and the water being contaminated by these animals. On top of that, overconsumption of food production waste, food waste affects the economy. Feeding America states, in the United States, people waste about 92 billion pounds of food annually and 145 billion meals they throw away. Over $470 billion of food annually. Shockingly, they waste 38% of all food in America. Overall, overconsumption is kind of like a hydra where you cut off one hand and two more pop up. Therefore, if we continue down this path, future generations will face severe shortages of essential resources like clean water and arable land. We will see an increase of environmental disasters, and we have already been seeing the results of overconsumption with people directly being affected by mass production as it continues to grow. And if we continue to live like this, we only have one world, and the future generations will not be able to will only experience our burdens and the waste that we have left behind. But that leads to more illnesses and could easily be avoided. Much of, like any problem, overconsumption can be combated with changing our lifestyle. We have been told to buy from companies, but if we make small changes, we can make a difference, and it can save you money. In this case, less is more. Many states and businesses have already taken action against overconsumption, such as recycling and zero waste policies, which are all beneficial steps. For instance, Samsung encourages customers to turn their old smartphones into baby monitors and pet monitors. However, these are good steps, but the problem goes deeper, and if any change is really going to happen, it needs to start with the small little changes we make. It happens in the mindset of Americans. America is often the biggest trend center of the global stage. We need to be the ones who start the change, and it starts with when we go to the grocery stores or when we pick something out new. We can find ourselves overwhelmed when we enter a grocery store, and the options are so many. And if we go in with a shopping list or shop more locally, that can be solved. And online shopping has also been a big contributor to overconsumption. But if we put limits on social media and online shopping apps, most of our items can be reused, and we don't have to buy new things. And we can even send our items to thrift stores. If you can repair them yourself, do it. If you're able to, there's so many problems in this world, like world hunger, food deserts, that could be solved with sustainability. Imagine a world where if we used our resources effectively, how many people would be able to have access to cleaner air, food, and water? Consequently, if we fail to act and we face a future that will look much more like Mr. Monk's nightmare. Overconsumption is a serious issue, but by taking responsibility and responsible action, we can protect our environment and ensure sustainability for the future for everyone. I'm not saying get rid of all the things you love, but find ways, and I urge you, before you buy something new, think of other ways you could extend the life of your clothes, your food, or before you even toss something away. Although there have been big steps to reduce consumption, it's these tiny habits that we can each take that will lead to a cleaner environment and a cleaner future.